Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to this channel. I want to talk about a very uh, crucial topic, that is health and ministry. Some pastors do convince their uh, congregants that they should not attend to hospitals if possibly they are ill or they feel bad. And it appears that this is a lie, even from the biblical illusions that I can read. But because of time, I'm not going to read that verse. The health issues are very crucial, and you need to check, you need to be at par with how your life is doing. So, to cut the story short, I want to talk about ladies, women in the families. I want to talk about the women, the ladies, and what they pass through in life, and how the ministry or church takes it. And I want to deal with the health department under the subtopic family planning and Christianity view. How does the Bible, how does God view family planning and its effects, and what God wants man to do when it comes to child bearing, parenting, family conducts. I want to start by explaining to you the types or methods of family planning that I have listed down, so that you know which one you can get into, and again you know what are the effects that you can finally experience. Yeah. So the first family planning method, I will quote it, give you its pros, and give you the side effects. So we have the first family planning method is long-acting reversible contraceptives, in bracket LARCs, LARCS. This is the method that includes the intrauterine devices, IUDs. That is where we find the coil that is inserted into the uterus of a woman. The efficiency or the pros is 99% efficient. That's good, and it can take 3 to 10 years depending on which type you've chosen to use. And the side effect of this is that during the insertion process, it might be uncomfortable, and it may cause spotting. Spotting means that you have some tiny blood droplets that come out of the birth canal, and this also can lead to cramping of the blood components within the lady. So those are the side effects of IUDs. Under LACs, we also have implants. Implants, the efficiency is 99%. And the pros is that it is up to 3 years, and it needs low maintenance. So you can just use it after you have decided to use it for 3 years. Then the side effect is that it can cause irregular bleeding. So you'll find that a lady bleeds. It is through the implant under the method LACs. So through this implant, because it interferes with the blood vessels during the implantation, and it interferes with the the tissues of the body, it can lead to, especially from the uterus, it leads to irregular bleeding, and it can also lead to a very serious kind of pain within the lady's body. And during the insertion or removal of this implant, it can be painful to that lady. So those are the effects, side effects of implants. I'm going to the method number 2, that is hormonal methods. These are some of the, I can call them drugs, used to inhibit growth of hormones or to inactivate hormonal growth. So under that we have birth control pills. Birth control pills, the efficiency is 91 to 99% when it is perfectly used. Then the pros is that it regulates menstrual cycle. So you cannot be sure if your wife, if for example you are a man and you've been counting the safe periods and unsafe periods, you cannot be sure that the lady, let's say it is always 14th, it might be a different date next time once the pills are used. And it reduces menstrual cramps, that's another pro, and it is real easily reversible. You can reverse the use of pills. Now the side effects is that when you want to use the pills, you must dedicate your time to take it daily whenever you are going to have sex with your partner. And another side effect is that it can cause weight gain. So you just become so voluminous such that you can't understand where much flesh is coming from in your body. But now, because the pills have got certain chemicals that leads to multiplication of cells, so you realize that you have a very fleshy body. We say you are now gaining weight. Sometimes it leads to nausea. Nausea is a state in which you feel kizunguzungu. You are not stable in the mind, and consciously you are not feeling good. Then it leads to mood swing. Mood swing simply means mood changes. Mood changes. It means if, for example, you have been doing something with maybe your partner, then the partner, the husband, feels, this lady has just changed abruptly. So under hormonal methods, the second method is injectable contraceptive. The first one is birth control pills. The second one is injectable contraceptives. The efficiency of this one is 94 to 99% when perfectly used. And the pros is that it requires injection every 3 months, and it is highly efficient because this drug gets into your system automatically. Another category is patches and rings. So the efficiency of patches and rings is 91 to 99% with the perfect use, only when it is perfectly used. So pros is that the weekly patches and the monthly rings, when when applied in the body, can regulate menstrual cycle. And the side effects of this is that it sometimes create potential skin irritation. You feel that the skin the skin is itching you, and it leads to mood changes. Sometimes the vaginal discomfort uh, comes to play, and finally you gain weight. That is well observed. That is the second method. The third method is barrier methods. That is a method that is just for prevention. So there we have condoms for both males and females. So for males, it is 85% efficient. That means chances are that you can use a condom and still get pregnant pregnant. So the pros is that it protects you from STIs, and there is no prescription required from a doctor. So you just need to use it. The side effects are that it can break. The side effects is that it can break. It can break. Let's say that the man is rough at doing his work, or possibly one of you has long nails. You can crack it, you can tear it with your nails, and it will lead to more harm than good if you never prepared for having a child, or if one of you had STIs, one of the STIs, then possibly you might contract it. Then it might dislodge. It might dislodge. Dislodge means it gets removed from its position. Remember, when you insert in the male organ, there is how it should be inserted. You hold the tip to expel out air, then you insert it slowly by slowly. Then dislodging can happen during the pumping of the Bermuda Triangle. So you must be very careful, and sometimes you might require to use spermicide that sometimes is also not efficient. We go to diaphragms, that is under the barrier methods. Diaphragms is for females. The efficiency is 71%, and the pros is that it can be inserted hours before intercourse and can be reused. The side effects are that may need a health care provider, and dislodging can also occur. That is the third method. The fourth method is permanent methods. Permanent methods is one is sterilization. Sterilization means if you're a lady, you go to your doctor or whichever doctor to do something called tubal ligation for you. Tubal ligation, it means the fallopian tube is cut so that ovulation shall never occur. So if you are a man, you go to your doctor so that the doctor cuts off the epididymis that transfers sperms from the testicles during intercourse. So when these parts of the body are cut, the efficiency is 99% because you'll never get pregnant. But it is a permanent solution. That is the pro of it. Now the side effect is that it cannot be reversed. You can never reverse it. Another thing is that during the surgery process, you might feel pain or it might be uncomfortable. We go to method 5, that is fertility awareness and fertility awareness method. Fertility awareness method, it means avoiding sex during ovulation, and you observe the safe dates and the unsafe dates. The efficiency is 76%. The pros are that it promotes awareness of how your body functions and the menstrual cycle. You can easily identify the dates that you undergo menstruation. There are no devices needed for the process, and the side effects are that it does not protect STIs, and regular record keeping is needed for you to know the exact dates so that you don't get to interfere with the cycle and pregnancy found without plan. The next method shall make you happy. That is method 6, withdraw method. Withdraw method means pull out. So during the process of you giving the madam some sweetness, you remove your male organ from her. And if you are not careful, you might ejaculate inside her. But because with the process, with the continuous practice, you will not miss it. You will always feel the sperms coming and pull it out. So the efficiency is 78%. Pros is that no cost, no hormonal changes, no devices needed. And the side effects are that high failure rate, because pre-ejaculation might occur. Pre-ejaculation simply means there are some men that upon just seeing the Bermuda Triangle, they feel excited and the sperms and the seminal fluid comes out very fast. So if that person never planned to pull out the male organ, you realize that pregnancy shall occur. Another side effect is that it needs experience and does not really protect you from STIs. The seventh one is spermicides that are over the counter. The efficiency is 71%. The pros is that it is available anywhere on the chemistries, and the side effects is that must be applied before each intercourse, but it is not efficient because some of them are defective or higher failure rate is occurred. Now, those are the methods of family planning that are available. You can also Google, you can also learn them from schoolwork if you are a student. But now, the lessons I've learned from this method is that the efficiency is never 100%. So it means if you might be using one of these methods, then you finally realize that the person or one of you contracts STIs, or you as a wife, you end up getting pregnant even with the coil or with the sindano at your shoulder. Then it means that the efficiency, the lesson here is that if God plans that you must have a child, no matter which method you use, you'll still have a child. Now, that makes me go to the next topic, which I want, the next subtopic attached to this, which I want you to know that God and Christianity view in family planning. How is it? Note that the Bible is so silent about family planning. There is no verse that I've realized or found that family planning was practiced. Why is God so silent about family planning? That's what I want us to discuss. Because when we talk about childbearing, there are concepts that God wants us to use. And those are the concepts I want to discuss with you in relation to family planning, so that I will just end this and go to part 2 of it, or conclude it that way. So the first concept is that God's sovereignty over life and fertility is so high. God is always aware that somebody has been conceived, a baby has been conceived, a child or an infant has been conceived, and God opens and closes the womb. Go and read the story of 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 2 to 5. God closed the womb of Hannah and finally opened it, and Samuel was born. So it means God's sovereignty over life and fertility is so high that no man can control it. We can just try to delay it, but man cannot control it. But when you use it, the artificial ways or methods wrongly, you might end up destroying the fertility rate or the fertility nature of your life as a woman or as a man. God's sovereignty over life and fertility is so high, and that is why it is written in the book of Proverbs 16 to 16 verse 9, which says that if God has planned to bless, no, it says God, God's plans shall always prevail. God's steps shall always prevail. If God has planned to bless a couple, his steps shall prevail. So that is found in Proverbs 16:9. So you must just know that that concept is within God's mind. Even if so, you shall be using the contraceptives or the family planning methods. The concept number two is that abortion consideration is not there in God's mind. Go to Psalms 139, verse 13 to 16, and you'll realize God works on someone's life when he or she is still in the womb. So it means God never intends abortion to take place, never intended that abortion should take place. So concept number three, God's plan for each child is always there. Reads all of the Psalm 139. You'll realize that God's purpose for man, for a child, is there, and you cannot despise it. Concept number four, the marriage covenant is so great that God cannot allow that you have married and you have no child unless something has happened. And it is not always easy to find a man who cannot dunga mimba, man who cannot spread seeds, because men were created to be the co-creators of God. So man, the marriage covenant is so great. Read Malachi chapter 2 verse 13. You will realize that if you do that which is not recommended by God, it is never easy for you to recover. In fact, if you are a man and you are disturbing your family, God makes you suffer most. If you are a lady and you're disturbing your family, God makes you suffer most. So what should you do? Go read Malachi chapter 2 verse 13, and I shall read it for you. And it reads, "This is another thing you do. You cover the altar of the Lord with tears, with your own weeping and sighing, because the Lord no longer regards your offering or accepts it with favor from your hand. But you say, why does he reject it? Because the Lord has been a witness between you and the wife of your youth, against whom you have dealt treacherously. Yet she is your marriage companion and the wife of your covenant made by your vows." So it means God is considering you trying to fill in the altar with tears. But remember, the cause is that the wife of your youth has been despised by you through your unfaithfulness. So consider marriage covenant. It means if you are a lady and you are trying to use the contraceptive so that you can play outside marriage freely, your tears shall fill the altar for nothing. And if you are a man, you have decided to play outside unfaithfully to your wife, your tears shall fill the altar for no good reason, because God cannot consider it meaningful. The concept number 5 is that children are a blessing to you, because you and your wife or you and your husband, without a child, sometimes it becomes an agony, it becomes a very serious painful scenario. Most families, because a family might struggle to find a child, but they will never get. But you have been blessed to have one, then you try to misuse the one you have found, or you despise the partner with whom you have found the child. It is very sad. So go and read Psalms 127 verse 3. It will tell you that that God blesses a family with a child. So it means if you want to do family planning, remember you are also preventing the blessings from God through having the child. Because some of the family planning methods cannot allow you sometimes to get back to fertility. It is not easy for you to get back to fertility. For example, when you use the injectable contraceptives, it might take you a long time before you get or you return to fertility after stopping the usage, because the chemicals get into your bone marrows, the chemicals get into your system and prevents you from acquiring the chromosomal pigments that lead to fertility. And again, because the chemical gets into your bone marrow, you realize that the bone density decreases with time. So it means you are preventing the blessings from God, you are harassing your body system, and at the same time, you are making yourself unhealthy generally. So thank you for visiting my channel. Thank you for listening to me up to this time. I am ready to expand your knowledge on ministry, health, leadership, and economics. Renewal of the brain is so much important to me. That is why I want to light your candles wherever you are, so that you be ye renewed by the thinking of your system, so that you change your life, so that I also change my life. For us to light this world, you who has gotten light, can you light other people's candles so that the whole world shall be brighter? Thank you so much. You can subscribe to my channel. I also have a music channel. You can visit it, Michael Global Music, at your own time. Thank you very much.